Welcome everyone to our April platform and partnership overview. I just want to thank you so much for joining us. Mike and I are going to be covering a lot today. We might be moving quickly in some areas, but it's a great chance for you to ask questions. We'll be answering those at the end. And you're also more than welcome to reach out to us at any time and we can dive deeper into some of the topics that we're covering today. Before we really dive in, we'll take a second and introduce ourselves. So I'm Audrey. I'm the business development manager here at MindFire. My background is a bit of a nerdy one. I have a background in software development, but ended up on the business development side of MindFire and haven't really looked back. So self-professed engineering nerd, but I have an in-depth knowledge of our platform and a really good understanding of what marketers need. So I've done everything from creating really sophisticated marketing solutions that include print and digital, deliver strong results. And my favorite thing is working with our clients and our partners and helping to deliver these solutions ultimately for their growth, hopefully your growth. If you're joining us here today, I'm sure we have a couple of existing folks in the audience. But yeah, Mike, over to you.
Well, I'm sort of the opposite of you. I'm a growth strategist here at MindFire, and I started out more right-brained. I actually began life as an artist, professional life as an artist, and worked and became more and more technical as I went. We've sort of met in the middle a little bit. I've spent, a little bit more than 3 decades in the print side of the business doing data-driven direct mail in that provider space. So I'm a big believer in this omni-channel strategy. And along the way, I've worked with family-owned businesses, Fortune 100 accounts, and almost everything in between. So my role really with MindFire is to help our clients succeed by helping their sales teams learn how to sell, learn how to identify opportunity, learn how to leverage this kind of technology as a big differentiator for them in the market.
That's awesome. Thank you, Mike. So today we will be learning a bit about who MindFire is, why what you're going to be seeing today is important, how it works, and who this works for. We'll discuss how we address the challenges that businesses and organizations like yours face, how you can partner with us and learn about some real applications of our technology, my favorite part, spoiler alert, and how you can leverage these tools to maximize what your business is doing with its existing and future clients in order to bring them the most value. At the end of the day, we've got to think about, be client first and always have our clients in mind. So what does this mean to them and what's the value add there?
Awesome. Let's dive in.
Great. So MindFire is the leader in data-driven marketing solutions that connect print and digital. I like to describe this as bridging the gap between the two. Bridging that gap and bringing these two channels together into one comprehensive marketing solution. So we are working with our print partners to deliver transformative marketing solutions that solve the challenges that you and your clients are facing every day, increase ROI on both sides of that coin, profitability, and ultimately help create stickier relationships between yourself and your clients. That's huge and, really, really important for, the industry that we operate in. So why does MindFire matter? What we have found is that digital combined with print delivers the return for you and your clients. We know that the future of print is that you can't just be printing. Clients are now looking to you for a full solution. Print and marketing are ever evolving, as we're all well aware, and print doesn't stand alone anymore. There was actually a survey done of brands that found that 81% of responders said that they include print in their integrated omni-channel campaigns. And then another survey found that 53% increase in 2023 of brands asking their printers to link their print with digital channels. So my question to you is, are you evolving to say yes when your clients come to you asking? And then next, we'll talk about why does this matter to you, or maybe why should it matter to you? So if you take a look here, you can see that print is more effective when integrating in with digital marketers, and marketers are looking for that. We also see that the average CMO age now, as of 2024, is 35 years old. They understand, just given, the generational transformations that have happened, the value of digital solutions from a marketing perspective as digital natives. I'm sure we've all kind of seen those buzzwords thrown around on LinkedIn and other social media outlets. If you only sell print, it becomes a commodity, or as prices are fought for to come down. I'm sure that's a story we're familiar with. It lacks personalization, segmentation, and a value add to your clients. So understanding your clients and their pain points helps you to sell them and deliver a full solution that includes print. This is far easier than selling them print alone. So next we're going to take a look at, we're going to have a sneak peek at the bigger picture or roadmap of what marketers are looking for with these types of integrated campaigns. Spoiler alert, this is MindFire's roadmap. So you can see in the top left here, it starts with the data. Then moving over to number 2 here, track and capture response, we're adding a data layer to the mail to make it trackable, measurable, and actionable. For our folks joining us that are already partnered with us, those are going to be very familiar terms if you've worked with me at all. And then next comes retargeting. So different retargeting opportunities and ways to increase engagement through various channels like SMS, triggered messages, call center, social, ringless voicemail, the list goes on and on. And then finally, you have predictive analytics and insights to help with agile decision making, or predictive analytics and insights. So now we've seen what our modern digital marketers are looking for. Let's flip the perspective and talk about what we've heard in working daily with printers. So we've got a list here. We're going to go through these. If any of these that we go through are something you've thought or said before, I know Mike and I would love if you would drop an exclamation point in the chat and let us know, or specify the number of something you've thought of or something that maybe your team is talking about. So you need to get out of the commodities game. Is that something that you've said, thought about? You're looking for a competitive advantage, trying to increase your ROI. You're working on client retention and gaining new business, worried about competitive pressures. I think that's a big one. Or you want to empower your sales team, or any combination of the above. Mike, are there any on here that stand out to you from your experience?
Absolutely. You know, number one, the commodities game, which you just talked about, being good at ink on paper is now table stakes in our industry. It's assumed that I can do great quality, but if that's really all you have, then it's speed or price are really the other two parameters that most people are really worried about. So if you are going to race to the bottom there, that's not going to be great for your bottom line. So I think it's very important to not be seen as a commodity, and you have to get rid of that competitive pressure by having some kind of competitive advantage.
That's fantastic. And we actually have a comment here: working with realtors now and trying to stress the improved return of print combined with digital. It's huge. That's exactly, nail on the head, what we're discussing here today. We're starting to see you can't do one without the other now. It has to be that integrated approach. So next,
The realtors have
but
become
wait, there's more. We've got a few more on this list.
Yep. Yeah, let me go to the next slide here.
Sorry, I think I'm having a little shaky connection. Your existing clients maybe aren't asking for an integrated solution. You don't have a technical implementation team. You don't have time to deliver a solution. You don't have any experience selling full product solutions. Maybe it feels really overwhelming to start, or you don't have a strategic plan. You have not been successful integrating full solutions before, or you don't have an internal champion. So if any of those are resonating, we'd love to hear from you. And just like I said, drop an exclamation point in the chat or leave a comment about one of these struggles you're facing. MindFire knows print and we know digital, and we want to empower you to connect the two with a competitive advantage. Mike, any other thoughts there? I might give my internet a little bit of a break to catch up.
Sure. Yeah, I think that's one of when we're talking to people about coming onto our platform and partnering with us, we do see them say, I don't have the team here internally. I can't ramp up fast enough. What am I going to do to be able to get speed to market here so that I can deliver? And we'll talk a little bit later about what some of our solutions are for that, because we have a way to overcome that, ways that we're going to assist you to get to market quickly, have the technical expertise you have, while in parallel, you are building it internally. So if that's an obstacle that resonates with you, we want you to know that's something you don't really need to worry about, because we're going to help with that.
Absolutely. No, those are great points. Let's see here. We've got another comment here. I think the challenge is educating clients that print and digital aren't an either or, but something that should be paired together. That is such a great point. And I mean, I think a huge obstacle to overcome. And that's something we'll dive into that a little bit more, especially when we start going through some of the contextualized examples and case studies, which are great tools to help on that education front with your clients. They're having to move at the speed of light. We're having to move just as fast. And so we have some strategies and some tools to help make that conversation easier when you're taking that time to educate your client. And if it's not you educating your client, it's going to be someone else. So we want to make sure that you're equipped to be able to have those conversations and open that door.
Yeah,
So if
and
we
if I
take
could,
all of the points,
I'm
yeah, go ahead,
sorry,
Mike.
if I could also just add one other point to that.
Absolutely.
When your client is having challenge understanding, either or both, one of the things that's really going to help within our platform is the way that we manage the data. Because once they actually see the power of print tied to digital, and I mean truly tied in terms of down to the individual recipient, what's happening, they will really get a very different view of what the print plus digital landscape looks like. And that's where I think our platform becomes really powerful.
Absolutely. Great points. So if we take all of those, if we take what Mike just added on there and we take all the points that we just covered, what does this mean ultimately? Why is MindFire the solution partner for you? As we go through, well, we just went through this list. So if any of these resonate with you, we'd love to hear from you in the comments as well. But ultimately, data-driven direct mail is the way to prove and optimize direct mail's effectiveness. It's never been more important to make sure that every marketing dollar spent accounts to trackable, measurable, and actionable results. And we've created a solution that helps printers sell more personalized and segmented print that is higher value and has more margin. And that's the benefit to you. Like I said, we'll dive a little bit more into the client side as we move along. So our data-driven solution offers everything from personalized, segmented data all the way through Omnichannel. So you have that end-to-end solution that you're providing to your clients. So now you've learned about who we are, why what we're discussing today is important, and why MindFire is the solution partner for you. But how does this all work? Some of you might know, but for those of you who don't, if you look at this slide here, this is just pretty simple 1, 2, 3. You start with adding, starting from the left, you start with adding a unique trackable identifier. Some of you might be familiar with the Pearl and PQR terminology, personalized QR codes and personalized URLs, but this can be any code, anything that's unique to the individual to be able to identify and track them. Then when a recipient scans their unique identifier, they land on the website and they are tracked, calling back to when I mentioned trackable results. And then finally, over there on the right, you can use robust reporting to track and improve responses with retargeting. Retargeting, I want to touch on that for a second. There's a couple of floating definitions right now. There's a lot of conversation surrounding pixel retargeting. We are talking about retargeting after someone has taken an action on that piece of mail. And then tying that all together in these response and analytics, this dashboard is a great snapshot of this particular campaign's results, showing unique responders by list in order to compare data sources. This was really valuable for this client to understand if who they were even targeting was the right audience. Are they even reaching the right individuals? I like to say, as opposed to the devil's in the details, the devil's in the data. And it really does come down to the data, not only who you're mailing to, but the results that you're getting and how you're able to act on those. Let me look over here. We've got a couple of comments, so I'm going to pause for just a second. Do you have a standard but custom looking web page that we can add to our website for promoting your omni-channel offerings? All right, we will cover that. I'll come back to that in the Q&A session, and then we'll make sure that this recording link gets out to everyone. I see we've got someone that's needing to leave that asked that question. So we'll make sure we cover that and get that answer to you. So let's take the dashboard example a step further. And you'll see on this next slide, this is another view where the desire was to compare attributes specific to the mail. So looking here, you can see mail week, template, teaser, down at the very bottom there, envelope. So being able to compare these mail attributes was really important to this particular client so they could know where to tweak. So it's effectively A/B testing, if you will, for the mail that they're sending out. And then the next dashboard view we'll take a look at, this was for the same client, but another view for them. They wanted to be able to compare very specific data attributes at the individual level, like age, FICO score, monthly savings amount, months remaining on their most recent auto. And at the core of it, it's all really that simple. By offering, it may not look that simple, and I know we've got some tiny print on here, and this is a very robust example, but what this boils down to is that you're able to offer data-driven direct mail to your clients. You're opening new doors to deliver everything from simple to sophisticated in the way of integrated marketing. And we're going to cover who does this work for, but Mike, I wanted to see if you had any thoughts or any additional value that not only the partners that work with us get from being able to offer this to their clients, but what does this mean to a client?
Well, that's one very interesting point, which I like to stress, in that because you're getting data in real time when a campaign is happening, what you find is you can become a trusted advisor because you're part of this process now. You can see while the campaign is going on, what's working and what's not. So rather than waiting to do an ROI analysis or response analysis at the end of a campaign and say, how did we do and what do we do next time? Now you have the ability to help them make changes to the campaign as it's running based on what's working and what's not. So you have now changed your position with them to be not just a print provider, but somebody who's actually going to help them with strategy. Completely changes the conversation and their view of you.
That's great. So I think the million-dollar question is, who does this work for? So let's take a look. It's a pretty simple answer. The answer, as you see each of these verticals popping up on the screen here, is all of them. And this is just some of the verticals that we work in. And you can see these popping up. We've got higher education, banking, mortgage, print, auto, nonprofit. There are certainly others. This is not, just what's being reflected here. So if anyone wants to talk to us afterward, and I've had a couple of incoming comments about that, about a vertical that they specialize in, that they need help with, absolutely, please reach out and let us know, and we can have a session to go through that with you. A couple of other, industries here, is medical on here? Medical is another big one. I know we're coming up to some open enrollment dates, so that's a big space. Energy is another really, really big space. So
Yep,
let's
doing a lot
ask
with
the
real
audience.
estate, as Jeff mentioned, we're doing a lot with real estate. And honestly, an interesting segment for us is also casinos, gaming.
Oh, that's a great one. And I was going to ask if anyone has a vertical casino, that's a big one. If anyone has another vertical that you are wondering if a solution like this, an integrated omni-channel print and digital solution, would work for, go ahead and drop that in the chat for us, and we're happy to speak quickly on that. But I think the next natural question is, how can you offer these solutions to your clients by partnering with MindFire? So here on the next screen, you'll see we really have 3 different ways that empower you with the ability to say yes to your clients, to solve these unique challenges that they're being faced with every day. They're getting pressure from all sides, as Mike has touched on, I have touched on. It's just, it feels like it's, kind of a pressure cooker some days. So over on the left, you can license our technology platform to run campaigns in-house with your team. We have in the middle there our Concierge Fast Launch program that focuses on partnership, business growth, training, marketing, and implementing full production solutions. Or you can go straight to our professional services team comprised of a team of experts that can help with everything from full campaign management, mobile apps, mobile wallets, web solutions, marketing, and a whole lot more. And with over 300 collective years in the printing industry, we understand the challenges that printers face when introducing new technologies. So we're going to break down each of these ways that you can offer these solutions to your clients. So starting with our technology platform, and it's broken down into two solutions. So we have our professional solution that focuses on simple, targeted campaigns that are quick to create, they're repeatable, scalable across your projects, and really anyone can execute these. Doesn't take a developer level necessarily. It can be a campaign manager, a marketing specialist. And then we have our enterprise agency level custom solution. So using our robust solution on this front, you're empowered to create highly customizable, sophisticated campaigns that integrate numerous channels, triggered elements, integrations. There's a lot of expertise at your fingertips here. However, I'll say, even though our enterprise solution can be really robust and get, very, very deep with these sophisticated, scalable campaigns, a lot of folks aren't actually trying to build these super sexy workflows, and this isn't how they're using it. The workhorse, or the bread and butter, if you will, on this particular product are the blueprints that we have. They trigger everything, and you don't have to have agency level expertise to be able to implement these and start offering a solution to your customers immediately. You can just be offering optimized direct mail with a super simple, super easy solution. And to be completely honest, at this point in the game, I don't really know why anyone would be sending a piece of direct mail without intent data on it, without a trigger back to let you know when someone is on your site, when someone took a look at something and didn't take action. So why would you not want to include this with every single piece of direct mail that goes out the door? It can be as simple as that and bring 3 times the results right there with that solution alone. And that's significant. If your customer wants to go more robust, then our solution supports that. But by boiling it down to the simple, data-driven direct mail solution, this is the easiest way to get started with adding value to your clients and your bottom line, ultimately. Okay, now that I've gotten that little mini rant off of my chest, another thing that we found is some folks do need more beyond just a platform to be able to execute these types of campaigns. Perhaps you need sales training for your teams, and I'd love to hear from you. Let me know if that's something that you are, kind of struggling with on the sales side. Implementation training for their production or technical team, that's a big one. Lead generation or brand leadership webinars. So this view here, you can see you can really DIY your solution with MindFire by adding different modules. This is our Pinterest approach, if you will. And then next we have our Concierge Fast Launch program. And we designed the Concierge Fast Launch program because after working with printers for over 20 years, we know what has worked best to help some printers grow by 400% using our solution. And we also know many clients were not successful. So Concierge Fast Launch helps our partners overcome many of the common challenges as you expand to offer digital solutions integrated with the mail that you're doing. Some of the solutions our partners faced included a lack of knowledge and education surrounding data-driven and digital direct mail solutions, sales teams not knowing how to recognize opportunities and how to position the solution for existing and prospective clients. That's a big point that's come up today. And it comes up, I'm sure, Mike, you can relate, comes up almost daily, is How do we position this to our clients? What's the benefit here? Marketing collateral and messaging. So marketing teams not knowing how to position digital and data-driven solutions in a way that makes sense for their sales teams and clients. And then implementation over there on the right. So either not having the technical resources to execute in-house or not knowing how to identify who can manage this on their team or who should be hired in order to satisfy this. So, Mike, any thoughts here? Anything that you have heard from working with clients, and how Concierge has helped address some of those pain points and needs?
Yeah, it's one great point, I think, is that when we get started with a lot of clients, the path that they go through is they start here. This is the soft landing for them, but that gets them to market quickly. So we can have the expertise in-house to manage for them. We can handle the execution of the campaigns. We get them up and running in the marketplace, being seen as thought leaders, and then transition them over time to an enterprise setup where they can take that in-house and run with it. Some people find that this just works for them and they stay here forever. They're forever, a concierge, program partner. Others like to change it up as they go, as they build that expertise and they justify the cost of internal resources, et cetera. So it's really a nice way to manage this. It's not an either or by any means. It can be a good way to start. And then as you evolve, you have more control yourself over the way your programs go.
That's fantastic. So there's effectively a blueprint or a roadmap here for that, and we outline that on an individual basis for each of our partners. So being able to walk you through that journey. So if we take a look at the next slide, this fast launch program, our concierge program, aims to solve for these challenges in a way that Mike outlined following this roadmap or this journey. And the goal is more often than not to get to that point where you're doing it in-house, where you're managing everything. But as Mike said, that's not always the case. And you can see here on the screen, some of the things we've touched on: sales training, dedicated sales specialists, white label marketing, professional campaign management. So it's really a, all-in-one comprehensive solution based on the feedback that we have been hearing doing this day in and day out. And then if we move on to the next slide here, part of this solution for how we work with sales team is through our crawl, walk, run, fly model, or I like to say our philosophy. And this makes it so that it's step by step for reps to be successful. But I think big picture, it's step by step for your organization as a whole to be successful with this. It gets you to the marketing and strategy table faster because of the conversations that you're now able to have with your clients. So this philosophy helps creating stickier relationships with your clients and helping them to build complete, innovative solutions to reach their goals. They're now going to come to you as a trusted advisor as they're looking for these ideas. What, new things can they bring to the market? How can they make themselves stand out? And we also want you as our partner to be seen differently in the market. So it goes, it's on all sides here. And how do we at MindFire deliver to you as you service your clients? I think now Mike and I should each share a little bit about how our days look day in and day out when we're supporting our partners. So Mike, I'm going to hand it off to you. Do you want to take it away for us?
Absolutely. So one of the things that I love about my role is to focus on client sales teams. Like we were talking about, making you trusted advisors, making you be seen differently in the marketplace. While the technology is terrific, what really helps set our partners apart is their ability to become that trusted advisor and then use the technology to prove the value of print and then intelligently pair that powerful channel with other digital touch points in an automated way. And then the data that's generated by these campaigns allows you to understand how they're performing and make strategic recommendations on how to use each channel to its full advantage. So you're no longer a print order taker, but somebody who has not only the visibility, but actual insight.
I love the way you said that you're no longer a print order taker. That's fantastic. And that is where that trusted advisor role, and you get to, become active in that role as you're working with your clients. That's awesome. So day in and day out for me, I'll start with each day brings its own uniqueness and its own set of problems to solve, challenges that are faced, and successes and big wins. I love celebrating a win. But for me, it looks like training sales teams, helping our partners with business strategy, helping close deals in partnership with your reps, executing full scale campaigns with our working closely with our implementation team, looking for ways to improve and create these innovative solutions based on industry trends and client feedback. Reps will typically bring their clients in to talk to me, or I'll, act on their behalf as a marketing specialist. I might move through the crawl, walk, run, fly philosophy, and then I'll spend some time learning and understanding your business and your organization and also your clients to work really closely with that to architect a solution. So we're a full team of experts, and we're able to help with all of this and a whole lot more. So we'll close out here talking about our concierge fast launch. So it's really a best fit for organizations that want to add turnkey product solutions to your lineup, for training and coaching teams on data-driven direct mail and marketing, and for high volume print service providers that want to get started quickly and MindFire and have MindFire's team executing on your behalf. So you'll have a team of expert business growth strategists, Mike, myself, that are dedicated to helping you sell. And you'll have access to a white labeled marketing storefront that includes a ton of creative and really effective marketing tools like ebooks, social media posts, sales tools, and you can see all of those recapped pretty simply here. So moving on, next we're going to talk about, this is, I think, really exciting for Mike and I, but for the team as a whole. This is an example of a turnkey solution that you can go to market to with fast. This is a great solution, or a toolkit, as we like to call them, or campaign in a box, that leverages a personalized QR code. And you can see that, teeny tiny on the inside cover of that box there. It takes recipients to a landing page, a personalized landing page with a video explaining the campaign and the strategy, and a data analytics dashboard. So it's easy, it's repeatable, and you get to set the price. And this toolkit also includes campaign materials. You can see those kind of in the bottom of the box there to show the user experience using the Pearl and the PQR code, or those unique identifiers, as we explained previously. You can really take advantage of an opportunity to showcase each element of a campaign and the broader campaign workflow as a full end-to-end, really simple solution. And at the bottom of the slide, you'll see the overview workflow for this solution. So taking you through from that mail piece to a personalized landing page experience with some follow-up nurture emails. And we've really just scratched the surface of the tools contained in this toolkit. If this is something that you're interested in learning more about, please don't hesitate to reach out to Mike or I. All right, we have reached my favorite part, but Mike is going to kick us off. We're going to be going through a series of real life examples of some of the ways that we've worked with our partners to deliver solutions. And we'll really heavily emphasize, and please don't be shy, feel free to ask us questions as we move through these, and really position this for the end client. So your clients and customers that you're working with. These are some examples of the campaigns that we've executed on our partners' behalf. And so we're going to go through some examples, talk about the results and the learnings. So Mike, where are we getting started?
We are actually going to start with real estate because, as I'm sure you're all aware, marketing landscape is ever changing. We continue to see more marketers try to save money and shorten campaign execution timelines by streamlining the number of vendors and partners they work with. This is an opportunity for print providers to step in with an integrated solution like this. And here's a great example. Let me just change slides here. So, we've got This one, for example, you might, as a real estate broker, make $30,000 on $1 million house. You've got a fairly high ticket item. You've got to identify interested and serious buyers, and the realtor is able to get more listings and closings based on doing some really good targeted, relevant marketing in the omnichannel. On this example, this is going to a specific couple, and there's a QR code here that will allow them to get a free estimate on their home. This helps move them along the continuum of buying a house if they know what their house is worth and what they could be doing next. So this makes them start dreaming a little bit about my next home when they know what they've got as assets that they can use as part of this campaign. Here's another example of one that's just sold. This is a way for the realtor to advertise, I'm very successful at this. I'm showing you somebody that looks like you in a neighborhood like yours. If I can do this for them, I certainly can do it for you. And again, here's
That's great. I
another.
really like the messaging there.
Yep. It's this has really been a very successful tactic for a number of the real estate firms that are using these kinds of programs. It really gets people energized to think, oh, I've got all this equity in this existing property that I could be using to pay for my next one. Boy, now I really want to take a look at what's out there. Switching gears a little bit, going into insurance. This has been another big market. We've got one realty regional insurance company that saw almost a 200% lift by using pearls and PQRs on a direct mail piece. Here's another one, a regional health tech company. The challenge they had was that they've got, they were facing really low response rates on a campaign to drive patient enrollment. And they needed to find a new way to increase enrollments to manage costs so that they could implement quickly. So the solution was they added personalized URLs and personalized QR code, unique identifiable tracker to the mail piece that led responders to learn more about that program. So this was a pilot that they did, and both the Pearl and the PQR stood out on the piece, which was helpful in information explaining what the program was. The fact that the employer was already paying for it and that they could learn more about, visiting their Pearl and scanning their QR code to give them more information about the service they were already using.
That's great. And I really love the emphasis on the piece and the creative itself. I think that can be an area that's overlooked. Is creative is equally, as important here, or it's a really key ingredient for an overall campaign recipe. And if you overlook that and don't take that into consideration, you're really missing out on an opportunity to emphasize that method of response and being able to capture that audience's attention, to encourage that scan, encourage them to type in their unique identifier into a web browser. So Mike, I think that's a really good key to emphasize there.
Absolutely. Thank you. And I did want to note here for some of the results. Here you can see what happened with this campaign. They saw 195% lift in response, and they reduced their campaign acquisition cost by more than 56%, which I think is pretty incredible. These are not inexpensive campaigns traditionally for them. They needed to find a way to be not only more effective, but also more cost efficient. We're able to do both things all in one campaign.
That's awesome. All right, so we're taking a look at universities next. Is anyone that's joining us today currently working in the higher education space, or is that an area that you want to be able to explore? Please let us know. So this is focusing on a university's enrollment campaign. So they wanted to drive enrollment with an engaging and innovative campaign. So they needed a better method to increase enrollment for each of their graduate schools. And they also needed to be able to provide more relevant content to prospective students. Historically, they had, run into some issues where their graduate student recruitment was pretty fragmented. And I think that's a common scenario in the higher education space. They didn't have one comprehensive solution or platform to be able to engage, inform, and nurture prospective students throughout their graduate school research process. And on top of that, another struggle was the marketing communications had limited measurability. So those results, insights, analytics were really limited for what they could see and learn from their previous outreach. So it left the enrollment managers unaware of what parts of their student search campaigns were effective in providing a return on that investment as they're looking to recruit new students. And they wanted to market their programs in a way that would really connect with prospective students, provide measurable results, and be a process that was easy for all 8 of these graduate schools to benefit from and be able to roll that out and scale that for each of these schools. So the solution was to create a better graduate student engagement program with the use of a variable view book and a dashboard to track the marketing efforts. This allowed the university to save money by allocating resources to areas that were proving to be the most effective. And with these dashboards and insights you're able to move much more quickly than you would have been able to previously. You're not having to wait to compile analytics and metrics. You have these in real time as the campaign is moving, and you now have the agility to pivot as you need to. And like we've mentioned before, make use of every single dollar that's being spent. So on the next slide here, you'll see an illustrated workflow of this campaign, and there was a combination of outbound and inbound marketing elements that were used. Responders were driven to a personalized landing page experience that captured students' interests in different academic programs, and they were then given a personalized view book with content based on their responses to that survey. For example, if they were interested in soccer or drama or maybe the chess team, the school really wanted it to feel like home to each person that applied. So they were able to use the responses from prospective students to build this variable view book for them. And it mailed first class in real time. It had a personalized QR code on the view book itself. And that ultimately led to a digital or mobile optimized version of the view book. So the student always had it with them. And these results were compiled in a comprehensive dashboard, and they were able to track responses by segment, get clicks from social media, banners, PPC, and web ads. They had a breakdown of mobile versus standard web activity, customizable spreadsheet reports, and a whole lot more. There's a lot more we could unpack here. So next, we'll take a look at the results. So how did the university know if these variable view books were actually engaging the prospective students? The data analytics dashboard displayed the campaign data collected throughout the lifetime of the campaign. They were able to see email open rates and click-through visibility, which devices students were using to view the view book, how the students were interacting with every touch of the campaign, increase in web traffic, and the ability to track that down to the individual level. And I think that's really key here, is having insights to each student as an individual, their activity during the campaign, their interests, the information that they're sharing. And then the university was able to view the results from each list source separately in the higher ed space. And this is common across industries, as we all know. There's various avenues for being able to source your data. So being able to compare SAT lists to ACT lists, especially in higher education, is very important. So they had that ability to view those different list sources. And in doing so, the university was able to cut funding for lists that were receiving low engagement. So they had some cost savings there. And they were then able to allocate more resources to the segments that were producing higher engagement, adding another channel, adding another method or another touch. And then let's take a look at another example in a similar arena, but we're going to focus on fundraising. And I think this could be applicable in the nonprofit space. Also, political is another big one. So don't look at this maybe in just the higher education context. You can look at this a little, broader with some of the different verticals you might be working in. They were a nonprofit organization providing support for their university's student athlete scholarships and athletic facility improvement. Anyone that lives in SEC territory is very familiar with the size and scale of these facilities, of these arenas and football stadiums. And their major source of funding comes from charitable donations and typically membership fees of alumni, friends, and fans. So they turned to us to help them increase member donations, improve first-time engagement, and drive excitement around the community. And how did they do this? There was a strategic integration of offline and online channels, creative and relevant messaging, advanced personalization in copy and visuals. And you can see some of the other points here, being able to emphasize some of the messaging surrounding signing day, which is a really important day in student organizations and at the university. The other unique thing here, which I think is just really incredible across the board for a nonprofit solution in general, is the school was able to take into account what people had donated in prior years or the previous year, start them at that tier, and then ask for a 10% donation or have different options to choose an increased donation. And they were able to post on social media that they had contributed back to their school, especially in alumni organizations. This is really big. I don't know, Mike, if you're a part of any alumni organizations on Facebook, but people love to post, especially about what they're doing for the school, with the school.
Absolutely. Yes, they do. They're very active on social media. And it's great because that just propels that whole campaign even further because it's organically growing on top of what's being done as a triggered executed campaign.
Absolutely. So we'll take a look at the next slide, and this diagram illustrates the campaign journey. So a target list you can see over on the left is sent some kind of outbound message, direct mail, email. This took responders to a personalized landing page journey where they could then make donations and have even the pre-populated donation amount. You can even have it pre-selected. Once a donation was made, the donor had the option to share their donation on social platforms that would then reach other potential donors. And that's a really big key here, is that reach. And so I think if we pause for a second, we take a look at this as the value to the client. And as the folks who are joining us today, as you're thinking about how you take this kind of a solution to your clients, this roadmap illustrates that beautifully, is being able to speak to the different requirements they have. What is the school or whatever client you're working with? What are they trying to accomplish? How can they accomplish that with a solution you can provide? And then what more can you do? So being able to kind of take a look on the other side of a campaign like this and share increased reach and growth, pulling in other donors that might not be on the original data list, and being able to speak through the ROI on that. What does a 1% increase in enrollment or 1% increase in donation look like for the school? 2%, 3%, 5%, 10%. And being able to share that an innovative solution like this will bring a return to them ultimately. And I think that's a really, good key point to highlight here as you're going to market with these solutions and having these conversations with your clients. So we'll take a look at some of the creative elements that were used for this campaign. This is always kind of a fun, pizzazz part, is being able to see what was being sent out. So there was a warm-up email, a direct mail piece, a cascade of nurturing emails, a personalized landing page experience with seamless donation, a seamless donation payment integration. So we're able to integrate in with some of the different payment providers. And then the social media posts, you can see that on the right. So I know this example's been a little long-winded, but what did all of this creative effort and strategy yield? That's the million-dollar question, and your ability to deliver this to your clients. This is where this really all comes together. So something to the tune of $6 million in fees and member donations were raised for the school. And not only did this campaign result in a double-digit increase for both the member renewal rate and the average donation amount, but thanks to the clever use of some of these channels that we've talked about, they were able to significantly reduce their costs by making sure that they're, not targeting folks that aren't going to donate. And then just to drive the point home once again, this entire campaign was viewable on the fly in real time in a dashboard, ensuring that all the results were trackable, measurable, and actionable. And I think, we've talked about how this can apply to other verticals here. So keep those in mind. Corporate philanthropy is another big one that just came to mind. So there's a lot of opportunities to take a solution like this and be able to, drive these types of results for your clients. So Mike, any closing thoughts on some of the examples? And, folks that are joining us, please ask us any questions over these examples, or we're more than happy to take a deeper dive. We had to go through these pretty quickly today, but we're more than happy to take a look at these further with you.
One quick thing I would add is that while these, you mentioned these are specific to a typical vertical like higher education, they do apply across the board. We'll find that campaigns that are developed for one purpose can often be used for many other purposes. Obviously, the content is going to be completely different, but the cadence, the channel selection, how the targeting is done, all of that is actually pretty similar across a number of different verticals. So once you develop a program that works well, taking that and replicating it with the rest of your customer base can actually happen very quickly and be very effective. So it reduces your time for doing campaign development, but you also know that you've got something that's going to produce good results.
That's fantastic. Yep, that ability to go to market quickly and implement these solutions fast for clients is really important here, especially in the landscape we're all operating in. It moves quickly, and as technology innovates and it's always ever changing, the landscape's always shifting. We help to prepare you to be able to move quickly with offering this and giving you that ability to say yes to your clients. So we are coming up on the hour here. So we are going to bring it all home. All of these examples that we just shared started with a choice to partner with MindFire and become a full solution provider for your clients. And the best part is we provide you with all the tools, training, and so much more that help you to get to that place. Everything is custom. Our solution offers everything from the really simple, like we've touched on, to the really sophisticated and complex, which makes it a little bit challenging to show you all of the different use cases, because every client is really unique in the problem that they're solving for, the challenges they're facing, and the opportunities that they're encountering. So before we dive into our Q&A, and we'll hang on for a couple of minutes for folks who have questions, we just want to share on the next screen here that we're actively working on some new and exciting features and offerings from MindFire, and we are looking for feedback as we work on these and are offering sneak peeks if anyone is interested. I can't share too much, and Mike, that goes for you too, because you all have to be under NDA, but get in touch with us after today and we'll be more than happy to set that up with you. We will have a QR code on the screen for you shortly after the Q&A that you can scan to email Mike or myself directly to schedule a sneak peek. And we'll make sure you have our contact information after today. We know we have some current clients on with us today, so we're getting with our current clients first. So please bear with us if you do reach out. And with that, it looks like we made it to the Q&A portion. And also, Mike, any closing thoughts that you have? I know it's always feels like such a rush to get through some of those examples. And like I said before, that's my favorite part.
Yeah, we are moving a little bit at breakneck speed in order to be able to get through all the messaging we want to get through in an hour. So it can be very logical to have people say, wow, that was a lot. We want to be able to break this down for people and make them see that it's sophisticated, it's not complicated. The complication, let us handle that for you. The platform does a terrific job of automating the technology and automating your campaigns. It's really a matter of taking your strategy for marketing and transposing that into something that the platform can execute on. So we have a terrific platform set up for that. And when we walk you through it, you'll begin to see quickly how it really doesn't have to be complicated to be sophisticated.
I love that. And Mike, I have a question for you. And I think this would be a great takeaway for everyone who's joined us today. What is the number one tip or a tip that you would give to a client that you're working with when they come with that question of what's in it for my client? How do I help them? Doesn't have to be the number one tip. I don't know if there is one, but what's one of your favorite tips to give with that conversation?
Well, I think one of the favorite ones, yeah, I'm not sure if there is one big one, and everybody's just a little bit different. But I really think that you are providing so much more value than just, oh, I'm doing email and SMS and ringless voicemail, and I'm pushing you to Facebook ads or search or whatever else, and I'm tying them all back together. That's powerful. To me, one of the biggest things is how you reposition yourself in the market as the trusted advisor. You're becoming part of that strategy because you have access to the data. You are not just a provider who's being asked to execute on something. Please print what I give you and get it in the mail. You've really changed your relationship with that client going forward. And that to me is one of the most powerful things about all of this technology. The tech is great on its own. What it can do for you as a provider and how it can help them be more successful is really what's amazing here.
Oh, that's a great tip. And of course, I sneezed right at the end. Glad I caught the mute just in time. Held on to the very end for everyone.
Bless you.
Thank you. No, that's a great tip, Mike. I really like that and, resonate with that. And I will say for anyone that wants to learn more, you will have to reach out to us to find out. So on the next screen here, we've got some QR codes here. You can scan those to get in touch with Mike and I. We would love to hear from you. Even just to give feedback on what you learned from today. What were some of your takeaways? What was helpful? What are you interested in learning more about? So we'll give everyone a couple of minutes to scan. And yeah, we would absolutely love to hear from you and keep this conversation going. So I know I'm not speaking only for myself, but from the entire MindFire team when I say thank you so much for joining us today. Your presence is appreciated and really excited to speak with you.
Wonderful. Everybody, thank you so much for attending, and please reach out to us for anything that we can do, and have a great rest of your day.